So I had a dream, and I'm a dreamer, and I was in a line with all these big guys, and I didn't see what God looked like, but I was in front of God, and he said, all of those that are not sissies, take one step forward. Not so fast, dog. Because I had committed suicide. And let me tell you, if you take that way out, you're a sissy.
Yeah, it's...
And one thing I don't like is to be called a sissy. And I went, oh, that's what he'd think. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's that suicide, we've explained it, because I speak to that all around the country, is it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
Because no matter how bad you feel right now, no matter how desperate and hopeless you are, turn your eyes to the Lord. Take them off your current situation.
Exactly.
He will rescue you.
And I also want to encourage people that are in the middle of something really hard and feeling like you have no hope. Help somebody else. Because God also used my friend losing her husband. It took my focus off of my own pain, knowing that I needed to pour into her because I was a little bit ahead of her. And so it was a huge help. It was a huge help in, okay, I'm not so bad anymore. Okay, I'm getting better because I actually can pour into her a little bit, where a few months ago I wouldn't have been able to do that.
And Scripture says, if you refresh others, you yourself will be refreshed. And you may not feel like it, right?
I didn't know it said that.
Yes.
My grandfather, I was 15 years old, and he said, what's the matter? I said, I'm really feeling down. And he said, son, I want you to go to that strip joint and talk to one of those strippers. And after you get down, I want you to see how you feel. And when I talked to her, I said, what are you doing? And she told me, I said, why do you do this? She told me about her dad and her mom. And I was like, I left that place. I jumped on my Harley and said, no, my problems aren't nothing. I didn't know the Bible said that. Say it again.
When you refresh others, you yourself will be refreshed.
Wow.
And I would say this to those 15-year-olds listening. Dog has a
go to
very,
strip joint.
he has a very unique life. Maybe not run over to the strip club.
She's punching me on the side. As
He's not allowed to do that anymore.
No.
But from your background, very appropriate.
Ow.
My dad was a pimp. I get it. I get it.
So, is it my turn yet?
So, yes.
So
I
you
mean,
heard me say that on TV.
Right. And then I called Paige. I sent her the...
Was it video or just audio?
No, it was video.
Oh, my.
It was on YouTube.
Oh, my. Okay.
And
I'm high mucka brother.
Yeah.
I sent it to Paige, and she's, going nuts.
E.T.
Oh, yeah.
It was Fox News.
Oh, was it?
In California. Yeah.
Oh.
We found out later that he had talked about me in 2 other interviews on Dr. Oz and on E.T. before this.
Go ahead, brother.
Fox News.
Whee!
And
So
the guy,
God was on the move.
the guy in E.T., I brought her to our last interview about 4 months ago in L.A., COVID test and all that. And so Kevin said, I remember you talking about that lady, and don't give me a punchline. And I go, Kevin, I'm going to tell you something. And he's like, what? I go, remember I told you about that lady named Fiancé that I talked to? And he goes, yeah. I go, there she is, Fiancé. And he's like,
His
no.
whole face
Oh, my gosh.
was in shock.
How powerful
was
is that?
amazing.
And he said,
it was
Fiancé,
awesome.
come sit on my dog and let's do an interview. Because, he's he's 20 years he's done that.
He's
40 years they've been on TV.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, my side, okay?
Yes.
So, you told Paige that you saw me.
So, and then I did, she's like, you have to reach out to him. So I'm just like, okay, God, I have no idea what to say. So in the morning, I sent him a picture of Bob and I. I told him like 4 times in the text, I don't want to date you.
Right.
This is not about that. And so I'm holding the phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? This is insane. And all the stuff that's happened is running through my mind. and someone else texted me, and I swiped up to get rid of the text, and the whole text disappeared. So then I jumped up off the couch, and I'm like jumping around in the living room going, oh my gosh, now I know I really am supposed to talk to him because the devil just stole my text.
Oh.
But then
The whole text you wrote out.
it was disappeared.
We know that feeling.
Yes.
I can't do this again.
Or you hit
Exactly.
send and you don't mean to.
Yeah.
So then I started doubting.
Okay.
This is crazy. Like, this isn't God.
It is. Well,
This is really
crazy
nuts.
with a K.
And so a week went by, and I went to church, and Paige and I went to lunch after, and she lit me up at Mod Pizza. Mm-hmm. Are you insane? Do you know what God's doing? Look at everything He has just laid out before you. You are supposed to call Him. So the next morning, I text him, and I actually think that God had a better text. So, and he called me back like 2 minutes.
Was it in the morning?
Yeah.
Or at night?
It was in the morning.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought
You
it was
said,
that night.
no, it was in the morning. And you said you had surgery that
Oh, I
day.
had it really early.
Yep.
The idiots
Because
want to
I
be at
sent
5:30
you-
in the morning.
The text that I sent you was at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
So, ready?
So go, baby.
So I'm
Let her rip.
at that time. Here's what's going on with me. So I go in to see the doctor because I have an itch on my head. I go in there and they go, "Okay, you have cancer right here and cancer right there, and the cancer, as long as it hasn't entered your skull, then we can take it out. Is it going to come back?" They go, "Well, there's a bad thing called melanoma, and you might have it. So we're going to replace your skull with this wire." And I'm like, ignore, right? So I got in the car after I seen him, and I'm like, "Beth, thanks a lot. You know, I don't want to go like this. Okay, please. All right, I'll be there soon." And so they said, "You got to come in for surgery." So I went in for surgery. As they're cutting, he goes, "Well, I forgot to tell you, it's not the dangerous cancer. It's kind of like a mole that infected, but we call all this cancerous." And I'm like, what? It's a miracle. And so they're 3 hours. 3 hours. I have a hole right there. I want to put a piercing there.
Come on
I have
now.
a hole there and another hole up here. And so they numb you. They don't give you no pills. And, you know, I was wanting a pill. And so, is that wrong to say?
No.
And so I'm numbed out, and I go. One of the first times I just got to Colorado, so I hadn't seen snow in 20-some years, really been in it. So when I pull up to the hospital in the morning, there's 3 cars, mine and the 2 doctors. When I come out 5 hours later, there's 300 cars. And I'm like, as she knows, I go, "Francie, where'd we park at?" And I usually said, "Beth, where'd we park at?" And I go, so I start walking in the snow to find my car, and the wind is blowing so hard, and you can imagine this was straight back. I looked like that imp on TV, and the wind was blowing in the rain and the snow. And I'm like, this is not cool. I can't find my car. So I go into the hospital, and "What's the matter, dog?" I said, "Get me security." "Oh, my God, what has happened?" "I can't find my car." "What? He's a bounty hunter and he can't find his car?" Right? It was embarrassing. So security comes down. "Dog, what's up?" 2 young guys. And I said, "Could you go find my car and hit this button and you'll know, and then come get me and take me?" So all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and up pulls my car. And I think, oh, what nice guys. They brought me my car. Oh, wow. Because the week before I got into a scrap at the hospital with one of them. And
Imagine that.
imagine that. And so when I left, the hospital just, every week I had something else going wrong, right? I was limping. And so they brought me my car. I'm driving home, and I'm like, I should have got a pill. You know, the doctor's like, "You can take 3 Tylenol." I'm like, oh, God. Okay.
Give me one thing that'll be worth
Or,
3,000.
hey, what's the other one called? The Tylenol and the what?
Codeine.
No.
Advil.
That would have been all right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Advil.
Oh.
First take 3 Tylenol, then 4 hours later take 3 codeine or 3 Advil. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Okay, thanks. So I'm driving home. It's starting to hurt, and I look down, and there's 2 radios in my car. And I'm like, oh, no, security left the radios in my car.
Yes.
I'm almost home, past the tracks here. I got to pull all the way around. I go all the way back. I get on the radio inside the hospital. I go, has anybody got a copy? Hello, this is Dog. Is anybody? And all of a sudden, like 5 of them. Hello, this is me, Dog. How'd you get, Dog? Where are you? I said, you guys left your radio in my car. So they come down, and they're like, we love you. Thank you, brother. I'm like, you guys are welcome. Thank you. So I start driving home, and I'm like, all right, I had enough of this. And I don't know why. I do know now. I pulled my car over, and I got out in the snow, and I took my boot, and I drew a circle around my car. And I got back in the car, and I turned it off. And I said, Lord, I dedicate this holy ground. And I lit into God. And I said, I'll never tell anybody everything I said, but I said, you know, my name is Dog because it's spelled backwards means God. And my whole life I've worshiped you and done you right. There's times that I went astray, but I came back stronger every time. I said, I've had those guys throw up on me, and I didn't get paid more from A&E for that. And I loved on them because I love them. And Lord, I've been your man. I'm an all-around good guy and a slayer of dragons. What are you doing to me? I'm so sorry, God. I don't know if you have what I have, but I need a woman. I could hear the Lord say, let us create man in our own image, after our own likeness. Okay, you've got one too. But Lord, I need this so bad. I need a woman. I felt guilty for asking God for a woman. And so I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take what Adam said, because I know God is no respecter of persons. That means if he's done something for one person, he'll do it for the next. So I'm thinking, how the heck did Adam get Eve? Okay, let me go to that. Genesis, iPhone, Siri, she's dead. Siri, so I have to find it myself. As I'm going through Genesis 4:1, I don't know what it was, Genesis something, and it says, for God does not expect a man to be alone. And I went, oh, this prayer ain't that bad. So I go to Genesis where Adam and Eve met. And I'm always thinking that Adam was asleep and he woke up and there's Eve. And
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa, who is this? So I read it 3 or 4 times. So here's what happened with Genesis. So Adam and God spend the day naming animals. And you can imagine how many. And like, Adam, I could see the vision happening, and Adam's like, do I have to call that a rattler? Can I just call them all snakes? Yeah, because Adam was getting a little tired and lazy at the end. So he tells God, I am so tired. I need to go to sleep. And God says, okay, go to sleep. So while the Bible says Adam was asleep, he took a rib closest to his heart, underneath his arms where he could cradle the woman. I'm seeing all this as I'm seeing him take the rib out. And wakey, wakey, Adam. And Adam wakes up. Oh, yeah, how's it going? I got a surprise for you. Now, you think Santa's good? God's a better one. And so he said, I want you to see something. And he looked up, and there she was. I hate to say this because we're Christians. Naked as a jaybird.
Watch out now.
And Adam said, oh, dear Lord, I shall call, because he's been naming animals, I shall call this one woman. And I went, oh, no.
Oh, yes.
You brought her to hit him.
That's right.
Oh, no. Goodbye, Christian.com. Goodbye, everything else. You're going to have her call me. You're going to have me run into her in the back of her car. Heck of a way to meet a person. But I thought, you are obligated, Lord. And I said right now, I'm cashing in my chips in the name of Jesus. God, do you hear me? I need a woman, and I need a good woman. I don't need a whore. I need a woman, Lord. Please, I need a woman. So I'm all bandaged up with these great big Band-Aids here. I leave them on. There's another one here.
It's like all
Ding,
across
ding,
his face.
ding. My phone goes on. To this day, I haven't read her text. Hopefully,
Yeah, it was
I
like-
never will. I want to erase it.
No, don't. It's
So-
part of our story. Don't.
It says, hi, how are you? I don't want to date you. Now, she did show me a picture of her and her husband, Bob. So I thought, well, she don't want to have any. And then she's like standing against this pole. I go, God, she's like 6'1". And she's almost 5'10". I'm 5'7", so I've never dated a taller girl. I'm like, how do you kiss them, right? So
Are you getting that text right in that
right
circle?
as after the prayer. But wait a minute.
Wow.
I forget the prayer completely, right? So
I had it's
Go
a
ahead.
little off because I had texted you in the morning. And
I didn't read that, honey. Did I?
Yeah, because you called me and said that you were going for surgery.
See,
and
I
could we
promise
meet
you right
after?
now,
Of course.
in Jesus' name, I don't remember that.
That's all right.
I did.
So maybe your phone started dinging again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I
Maybe
looked at it driving up
Maybe
here.
God did that.
Driving up here
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah,
It ding,
because
ding.
that was like 6 o'clock at night.
I was lonesome. I was hurting. I got Band-Aids. I looked in the rearview mirror and said, oh, my God, I look like Frankenstein's cousin. And I said, okay, there's no way that I'm going to impress this girl because she's a rancher. You know, she cut off bull balls. She's like, right? No, I'm thinking that. We're men and
It
women.
is what it is.
And I'm thinking, oh,
Hey,
my gosh.
I have
man.
done that.
Yes.
Yeah, you threatened me. And so I call her up and I go, listen, I just got out of surgery and I got Band-Aids all over my head.
I look like Frankenstein.
And I said, you want to meet it? All I could think of was. And she goes, well, sure, when? I go, like right now? And for what? She said, a rancher. And I said, coffee? And she goes, okay. And so I meet her there. I got the Band-Aids on. I knew who she was because I seen her picture when she walked in. And I'm like, wow, she's a lot taller than I ever even thought of. She's got to be 6'3". And she had these big cowboy boots on that I've never even seen the style, with their pants tucked in the boot. Her blouse is buttoned all the way to her throat. Her sleeves are rolled down. I go, well, she ain't for me. And she sits down and she puts her hand out. I stand up as a gentleman because I knew rancher. I had to be at my best gentlemanish.
And he shook my hand.
I shook her hand, and when I touched her, you think bells and whistles went off. Not. And I seen her long fingers in her hands remind me, and this is not perverted, but of my mom. And I thought, wow. And I started talking to her. I don't even remember what I said. Do you? Don't say it. And we talked, and it was like a dead date, right? Okay, see you later.
Well, it wasn't a date.
No, but I was looking, so I didn't know. I forgot the prayer I said. I had no idea of it. I was going after a guy the next day who carved my name on the brass of the bullets.
Which is baloney. You can't do that.
I don't know. So I believed it. Everywhere I put his mugshot on the fireplace, his eyes, like that Jesus statue in New Mexico, followed me. And I could hear him say, I'm the guy. And I said, oh, yeah? Would you get a load of me? And I was talking to this guy, and I thought, this is going to be it. I'm going to go out in a hail of glory. And he's going to shoot me dog
With your
Chapman
bandages or without?
with them. And I read the headlines. I thought, dog gets shot 8 times. I said, Lord, what about 9? Okay, 9 times. He was riddled with bullets, and he, called his kids. So I think, I'm going to die. This is it. This is the guy that's going to shoot dog down. So there was no one to call. And I hit California, and there was one.
So can I stop you for 1 second? Because there's a part that I just want to share.
Okay.
So when I got there, he was already there. And
Okay.
And so she brought me to the back, and he stood up, and I thought, he looked a lot taller in that picture Paige showed me. I'm just kidding. No,
Why was I in the back? They always put me in the back of a
Well,
restaurant.
because they're trying to respect people. So he stands up, and
Hi, Shorty.
I thought, no, his face was not. I mean, because Paige had told me, he's a bounty hunter. He arrests people. He beats the crap out of them and puts them in the back of his truck, and then pours Jesus down them and gives them cigarettes. And so I thought, wow, that's really cool. And so I just was expecting a hardness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
in his face.
Yep.
I was expecting a tough guy, you
Right.
know? And so I walk in, and his face is just soft. And his eyes are, I could see Jesus in his eyes.
So kind.
And kind. And then he reached his hand out and he shook my hand, and the Lord just showed me his heart. What he carried, how much he loved him, how much he loves people. And
What a beautiful supernatural
So
moment.
I'm in the
Yeah.
plane, and I'm like, I ain't got no one to call. I don't have anyone to call. Sorry, I'm Hawaiian, the kind fella. So I land Airbnb in the room. I
you
go,
asked me if you could.
stay in touch with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going on
When
a
we left.
dangerous bounty.
Yeah.
And I knew she was a prayer warrior. So I could call her and say, I need you to pray for me. And I knew don't say because I might die because it'd scare her. Rancher. Nut. I met a nut, she'd think.
He reached out to me and said that he was going out with his team, and he asked me if I could pray. So I started praying over him.
Like right on the phone. A Father in the name of... Whoa, man.
Right here.
She's
She's
quick.
bringing it. She is bringing
She
it.
prays with her eyes open.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. No, she still does.
Yeah.
Like I saw you do it
yeah.
today, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought you always had to... All right, everybody
So then-
bow their head. Every eye closed.
Remember, Jesus looked up.
That's right. So the next morning, God just starts downloading all these scriptures. And so I'm like, okay, I think I'm supposed to send this one this morning. Like every morning, he started downloading these scriptures, and I would send them to him, and they didn't mean anything to me. I thought, that's what you want me to send him? And I do have them written down in a journal. And he would text me back and go, oh my gosh, how did you know that? And I'm just like, God told me to send this to you. And so we started talking on the phone every night when he got back from hunting this guy. He'd call me at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And finally, I mean, some nights it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm falling asleep on the phone. And we just started sharing everything. I mean, a whole ton of our conversation at the beginning was about Beth and Bob. That was a huge part of what God used to draw us together. Our hearts were still grieving. We knew God was calling us to stand up and start taking steps in life again. But it was that grief and the understanding that we could say to each other, I've never hurt like this in my life. The pain that I have felt in the past year, the whole side of my body, my left side of my body for 6 months, the first 6 months hurt. My arm, like my face, that whole side of my body hurt for 6 months because my heart hurt so bad. I did not realize that your heart could physically hurt that bad.
Yeah.
And we got it. We could say that to each other when the people around us that loved us could
Didn't understand.
Yeah.
they could
They
tell
could.
us they're
How
sorry.
do you tell your kids that?
And yeah.
You're supposed to be strong for your kids. You can't say, I miss her so bad. You couldn't say
Yeah.
that, but I could say that to Francie. So,
We got it. And so that's how I think we really started to have feelings for each other over the phone.
Oh, I
Like,
did
it
not.
was over the phone.
I didn't. I thought you were like a supervisor, like you were helping me get
Oh,
through
sure.
this.
Yeah.
I really did. I said, okay, God sent me. I didn't even again remember the prayer.
Wow.
I didn't say, okay, what about this prayer? You know, I was like in the spirit world, I was lost.
We became close over the phone in a really fast,
Way.
like a close friendship is what I meant
'Cause she'd
over
say-
the phone.
I'd say, pray we catch him. I think you will today. Let me pray. Came home, not caught yet, not caught yet, not caught yet. So we ran out of time, footage, da-da-da. So I came home. So I'm home, and I was used to calling her for 6 days or so, right?
No, it was for 3 weeks.
Was it really?
Yes.
Geez, see there?
It
Wow,
was,
that's a lot of
it
time
was
to
3 weeks.
bond and get each
Yeah.
over
other's
the phone.
heart.
Yeah.
But nothing, Cupid did not show
Right.
up in my room.
No,
Right.
mine either.
So I came home. I was used to calling her. I called her, and I go, listen,
Do you want to go somewhere
do you
with
want
me?
to go on like a date.
You didn't say that. You asked me, do you want to go somewhere with me? Like a movie or something. You didn't say a date. You just said, do you want to go somewhere with
Didn't I say The Rock's my friend? You want to go to Jumanji?
No.
No? I thought I said that. I gave The Rock credit. Never mind, Dwayne. So,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You
Oh,
asked,
there you
that's
go.
right.
Say that
Yeah.
again so people get that.
Yes, you did say that.
Dwayne
you
Johnson
were
is my
correct.
friend, so-
The second Jumanji had come out.
come out. So I thought,
Yes, you're
I'll
right.
lean on Dwayne, The Rock. It's amazing. I go to the church, The Rock now. Oh, wow. I
And
just
Jesus is our rock.
thought oh, man.
Gosh, look
So
at that.
I go, will you go, like, maybe see Jumanji, a show? And she goes, well, I might if you go to church with me first. And I thought, uh-oh. Okay, I will. And I go, now, what are you? Because I knew that she, was at least a gospel. How do they say? Foursquare gospel. Right? And then I'm thinking, uh-oh. Farmer, rancher, Pentecostal. I go, are there any snakes there? Right?
Yeah.
Because the snake bites. And she goes, no, Dwayne, no snakes. I go,
Very good
You don't have to
impersonation.
jump off any buildings or anything? No. Okay, I'll go. So this is my best part.
Yes.
So I go to the church. They're all Christians. They're there.
Oh, let me say one thing.
Okay.
I told them, so two of the women that are leaders in this small church had been walking alongside me since Bob had gone home, speaking into me, praying over me, lifting me up, just pouring life and Jesus into me. Both of them were widows, had been widows, and so they knew all that was going on. And I made them promise that they would not make a big deal that he was there. I didn't know. The Lord told me not to look at anything, and so I didn't know what he believed, what he had seen.
Snakes or not.
Church, anything. So I begged them not to make a big deal that he was there. So go ahead.
So we're in church. I'm standing there, and I thought, I might as well. So I grabbed her hand like that. She went, and I'm like, oh. So I'm like, okay.
Did not want to hold your hand at that moment.
No.
Crossing the line.
Yeah.
Easy.
Crossing the line.
Easy there,
Easy,
big
doggy.
dog. Yeah.
I thought prude. So I thought, stop right now. You can't try to have sex with a Christian because your weenie will fall off. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. So your growing will fall off. So I was like, don't, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, never mind. And so there was a tongues, and all our listeners and viewers understand tongues and interpretation, right? So all of a sudden there was a message in tongues, and he said, Oshomani TTI.
Shakala.
Hot TTI. I said, oh my God, that's my name in Jesus language. Because my mama spoke in tongues more than English. And I could hear her, oh, TTI. I said, my sister, who's she praying? She's praying for you, big brother. Oh my God. So I heard TTI go, hey, that's for me. She goes, no, it's not. I told him not to.
No, it's not for you.
So the pastor who had the interpretation starts wandering across the room. I try to hide behind her shoulder because I'm knowing for sure it's coming.
Yeah.
He gets that spiritual eye and looks at me and says, dog, come forward.
Oh, my.
And I'm dying.
Yeah, you have to be.
I'm dying. I'm just like, okay, he's going to either run or then I'm going to know.
Because
right?
she don't know that I know what's up, right?
Right.
So I go up there in Jesus' name. I go, all right.
I couldn't believe he
I
went up
might
there.
as well go, right?
And I'm hiding.
Only for myself I went because I thought, what did I think? I don't even know. So I go up there and he goes to reach for me and I go, preacher, if you slay me in the spirit in front of all these people, if you touch me, and slay me in the spirit in front of all these people, I'm going to kick your ass.
Exact words?
Yes.
And he looks at me and he goes, I don't need to touch you to slay you in the spirit.
Watch
I
out.
go, stop it. And this guy in the front row goes, you're going to kick his ass. And I go, and I'm going to kick yours right after. Right?
Yeah.
So he goes.
And I'm like, oh my
Oh, this is too
She's
funny.
thinking, oh no.
Oh, Lord,
So
please.
he says the interpretation was your life is going to get
about to
better
change.
and it's going to change right now.
Wow.
God's
and I'm-
taking you in a whole different direction.
Yeah. The whole
Oh, yeah.
next 10 years, he told me.
Is everyone listening to this?
Now,
or
I got
watching?
so many witnesses because the church
Right.
was there, right?
Wow.
It was amazing. I was bawling.
And so I go back to the chairs, pew, and all of a sudden
They
she
start-
raises both hands
They start worship.
and she
I'm a
starts
worshiper.
swaying again as my mother would sway. And I go, Mommy, look at this girl, Mommy. And I reach for her hand and she goes, and I lean in her ear and I go, gotcha. And she was so proud of me. I could see the pride. I said, oh, you think you're proud of me? And I started looking at her body, and I'm like, man, she ain't really that tall. If I put on my cowboy boots, I'll be taller. And I started looking at her and thinking, no way, she's a rancher. She don't know about, and I didn't know she used to be a gangster. So I'm like, all right, Lord, if this is what you want. And all I could remember is the words, Lord, this is holy ground. And all of a sudden, oh my God, I felt like, I don't know the feeling. It's hard to explain the spiritual overpowering, right? And I got so happy I want to start laughing. I almost started speaking in tongues. And I started laughing. I started sobbing. And I said, oh my God, will you pick this girl? Oh my gosh. And she heard me crying. And she's, what'd you think when I couldn't help it?
Well, he was behind me, and I'm standing in front of him, and I'm worshiping, and I have my arms raised, and I'm praying for him, and I can hear him crying behind me, and I'm just like, my heart's breaking. I'm crying, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, God, what are you doing here? What do I say to him? And the Lord just kept saying, nothing. Nothing. I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to keep praying over him.
Let him
And
do what he's doing.
That's right. And so, but that's when my heart started to shift
Yes.
and toward him
And his as well.
and his toward me. It was where God really, and then,
I took her to Jumanji.
yes.
And I walked into the big theater here, and I told my Latino friend, hey, I say, this my girl. Me and
Stop
her.
it.
I said, you know what I said. We got our own thing going. It's me and her alone in here. Okay, though. Okay, Pedro. And she's like, don't say that. And I go, just go sit down. He didn't let nobody else in the room.
Come
Am
on.
I right?
Yeah. We were
Come
in the
on.
theater
And
all
so
by
I
ourselves for the
waited.
whole
I
movie.
waited.
You
Dwayne-
romantic.
Dwayne Johnson did something real cool. I said, now's the time. But I asked, can I kiss you? And she goes, I guess so.
Oh.
And the
But-
kiss wasn't even that great.
No, because we're both nervous. We were both, I was so nervous.
But your kiss
And-
kind of glitching around. And
Stop.
I kissed really good. I remember our first kiss forever.
Me too.
And so I kissed her, and Cupid shot me right in the ocole. Wham! And I was like, oh my God, this love? Oh, what?
Then I invited him over for dinner, and so he's trying to stop smoking. He's doing really good. So proud of you.
And almost
So it was-
a year we've been together, Francie.
I know.
Now, y'all are engaged. For all of our listeners, y'all are engaged.
Yes.
Because you know God has called you to be together
We have no doubt about
to
that.
advance his kingdom. And that's what I want people to understand. I mean, the love story is so powerful, how God has been so faithful through trauma and grief. And here we are sitting here together, and God's brought us together.
Yes.
Right.
And we can see his hand on y'all's life.
Thank
Well,
you.
and I thought,
We do
okay,
too.
it's a widower thing, psychological. I'm one of Psychiatrist 101. I
Right.
took the class because I have to speak to my peoples.
Right.
So I thought, okay, here's what I did. I eliminated everything. And then I met her, and we were together, and I was like, I'd like to get back on the phone and talk to the girl I was talking to. So one day,
was
right
was
away,
uncomfortable at first.
no, because here's why. We go to a coffee place. I cut the word out so you don't have to cut it. And I said, I'd like a double da-da-da-da. What? I go, I'd like a double da-da-da-da-da and a da-da-da-da. I didn't understand you. And I said, listen, you rude punk. And she's like, oh, no, they're going to spit in our coffee. And so, and I'm almost quit swearing, haven't I?
Yes.
And so
We call that sanctification. You're in the
That's
process,
exactly
brother.
right.
I pull up to the window, and he comes up smart aleck, and I go, listen, you blah, 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 blah. I'll drag you through that window and beat your ass. And he's like, and he leaves the thing, and she goes, he's gone. And no, she goes, oh, no, he's going to go spit. I go, huh, Francie, he ain't coming back. And she's so embarrassed, right? I could see her. She's like shaking.
gosh.
So the girl comes back and goes, here, you can't touch the coffee. They got a stick. And I go, what's that about? She goes, COVID. Oh, here. I take it. So I'm starting to drive away, and she goes, I want to go home. And I go, what? Do you know that I never even heard in 14 years Bob say one swear word? And I said, well, wait till you get a load of me. And I thought, uh-oh, date over.
Yeah.
Relationship
You
gone.
didn't.
I thought that in my
Oh,
heart.
okay. You didn't say that
I
to
thought that's it.
Yeah.
Never heard a swear word? Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
Yeah.
Wait
That's a
till
hard thing to
Oh,
follow.
man.
brother.
And I thought, whoa.
I did make him take me home.
Yes, and you said, I never heard Bob say a swear word. So to compare, I thought, I'm shot out of
Yeah.
the saddle so quick. And then I called again, and she answered, so I kind of, I'm very sorry, ma'am, that I sweared. I'm very sorry that I sweared, and I'll try as much as I can not to swear again. And you're like, okay, but it just hurts my spirit. I go, well, mother effer and all that is really bad. And she goes, yeah, it's really bad.
Is that out of the
I go,
question, too?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yes.
I've got so many adjectives.
What if
I
the
don't know
doors
what's-
are closed? Oh, there won't be, so don't worry. I'm like, oh, God, that didn't work. So I almost stopped, haven't I?
Yeah.
And so, because that does bother Christians,
yeah,
right? I mean, be all things to all men, but you got to draw a line. So, and then I told the Lord, thank you so much. And I go, now what do I do? He goes, well, you wanted, I gave you what you got. What do you think you do? And I go, Lord, I'm going to marry this girl. I know, he said, you are. So I go to her and I said, lady, will you marry me?
You did not.
And she said, if you get down on your knees. And I thought, I don't get on my knees for nothing. And what the heck is this knee stuff? Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
I did it.
Yes.
It's very
What?
traditional.
It is very
I'm not sure where it
traditional.
came from, but it's very traditional.
I thought, I ain't getting on my knee for nothing. So I told her, if I get on my knee, then you're going to come, because I'm theatric. Yeah. So if I get on my knee, then you're going to get down on your knee too. And as you stand up, you're going to pull me up. Because that's what she was doing to me, mentally and physically, pulling me out of the pits of hell. Right? And so I got on my knee, and I said, will you marry me? And she goes, yes. And I'm waiting for her to get down too. And she lets my hand go and stands there. And I got to get up by myself. The Lord
I
said,
did help you up.
oh,
Yes, I did.
But you didn't get down on
No,
your knee.
I didn't. But you know what?
Way to hold the
I-
line, sister.
I was.
What? Say it again.
Way to hold the line.
Brother. Hey,
You know
wait.
what? I was so overwhelmed in that moment that, for a whole bunch of different reasons, everything that we had gone through from the moment we left to right then was playing like a movie in my mind.
Okay.
And the transformation that God was doing in the both of us. And I was so overwhelmed that my heart was so full of love for him that I never thought that that would happen to me again in my life. And that I said yes, and that I wasn't scared, and that I knew that God was bringing us into this place of redemption and restoration together. And so I froze, and I didn't, but I did help you back up.
I don't remember that. But I knew after that, when she hugged me and then she holds my hand, and I said, God, this is man, why didn't I do this in the beginning? This is on goosebumps everywhere. Even my ear was tingling. I'm like, oh, man, this is real love, Lord, because I've been in love before. So I was like, and then she starts laying down the law. No swearing. You must go to church every Sunday. You have to watch your swearing. You got to quit smoking. You got to do this. You got to. And I go, Francie, I want to do all that anyway because I have a past. In the 70s, I was in the penitentiary in Texas, making big rocks, little rocks. And I've been there. And I was starting to slip back into that. Even though I'm Dog the Bounty Hunter, I started thinking, I'm going to go apply for a job at the Hells Angels. And I started thinking, and that night when I pulled over and drew the circle, I said, listen right now. I'm not in jail. I'm not broke. I'm not none of those things. I'm choosing. Whether I find a girl or not, Satan, get behind me. I made my own choice right then to not go back to who I used to be, but to go forward to who I really am.
Well, we hate to interrupt this conversation, but that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the conclusion of this interview. To find out more about Victor Marx and All Things Possible Ministries, visit victormarx.com. There you can click on our mission page to check out all the work that's going on through this ministry. Be sure to visit our video page where you can view Victor's feature film, The Victor Marx Story, and find out more information about the groundbreaking films Triggered Military Edition and Triggered 2, which highlights the impacts of post-traumatic stress and PTSD. All of this and more can be found at victormarx.com. That's victormarx.com. Want even more great content? Victor reaches more than 200 million people each year through social media, so be sure to follow him on Facebook and Instagram. Get connected as an insider and send him a text at 719-824-2386. That's right, text Victor at 719-824-2386 to stay connected. Mobile charges may apply. Thanks again for tuning in today, and until next time, may God richly bless you.